Hi gals, we're filming from New York Times Square this week. Stay tuned so you can watch this week's video. Today we're talking about 10 ways to prevent yeast infections. So the very first, most important and easiest way to prevent a yeast infection is to wash your genital area daily with a soap with no perfume and no dye, a bar soap, so it doesn't leave any residue. That's the simplest, easiest way. Another way to prevent a yeast infection is to wear cotton underwear. Any other fabric can make the area very humid. A lot of moisture can accumulate, so you want to make sure you use cotton so it absorbs any excess moisture. A third way that you can prevent a yeast infection is to wear clothes that aren't loose. So if you wear very tight clothes, there's a lot of moisture there that it can cause easy overgrowth of yeast. You know, if you're home, you can just like wear a skirt or a dress and actually not wear any underwear so that you can let a lot of air through, and it can help with preventing any excess moisture. Number 4, you want to make sure that after you exercise or you have intercourse, you rinse off well, because any excess moisture from exercise or actually semen from intercourse can easily feed any yeast and cause an infection. And along the same lines, you want to make sure that you change your tampons or your pads regularly every few hours so that there's no old blood sitting there. Yeast and bacteria actually love blood and semen, so you want to make sure that you rinse it off every while so you're not like feeding off any yeast or bacteria. Also, if you use a douche or a lot of vaginal wipes or scented wipies or scented tampons or scented pads, those can cause overgrowth of the bacteria or kill off the normal bacteria in the vagina, so you want to make sure that you avoid all of these products. If you recently took antibiotics for whatever reason, that also can make you more vulnerable to infection, particularly yeast infections, so you want to make sure that you don't use any antibiotics unless you absolutely need them, because they can give you a yeast infection. You can also try to avoid estrogen containing birth control, so check out my video on progesterone only birth control methods. Using one of those can help with reducing the amount of yeast infections that you get, because estrogen can make you more vulnerable to having yeast infections. And then there's also certain medical conditions that can make you vulnerable to yeast infections. For example, having diabetes when it's uncontrolled, like if your blood sugars are really high, that will allow yeast to grow on your skin, and particularly in any moist areas like in your genital area or in your inguinal area, like between your thighs. Also, pregnancy can make you more vulnerable to yeast infections, so you want to make sure that you're seeing your doctor regularly, that your blood sugars are under control, and you're staying healthy. And lastly, if your immune system is optimal, if you're staying healthy, you're taking a multivitamin every day, this is the best way to fight off any yeast infections, because if your immune system is well and you can fight off any yeast in your genital area, it won't overgrow. I hope this helps you guys. I hope these tips are helpful. Like our video, subscribe to our channel, and email me at gynogal@gmail.com, and like us on Facebook. I'll see you next week.
Safe sex means that every time you have sexual intercourse, which includes any form of sharing your body fluids, oral sex, vaginal sex, anal sex, you use a condom every single time. Or you don't engage in these activities. Maybe you just kiss or touch each other.